Today we're going to review a couple of options to relieve sciatic and hip tension if you're lacking mobility and range of motion and you're limited to a seated exercise position when using your platform. Sometimes range of motion, maybe you're just having a bad day and the fatigue or the pain, limits you from standing on your machine or using it in another fashion. What I'm going to show you, you can do seated using your vibration machine. Heck, you can even do this seated in your chair at the office. Anytime you feel that tension building, listen to your body. And I encourage, if you're focusing on stretching exercises, try to perform them more frequently throughout the day. Don't leave it till just your big workout in the morning or later on in the day when the calendar allows. A minute or two here or there can go a long way. If you are working from home, if you're retired and you have access to your vibration machine, you can simply incorporate this technology to make the exercises more effective, offer more benefit, and a little less effort on your part. So the very first basic part we're going to roll with here is I'm just going to run the machine for a 90-second period. Whether you're using a pivotal or a vertical platform, I want your feet about hip width apart for this exercise. If your sciatic pain or tension in the legs, swelling is severe, on your pivotal platform, if you're finding it painful, reduce the amount of movement or amplitude by bringing your feet closer to the center. On a vertical style platform, you may have an intensity or an amplitude high-low button. Bring that setting down. As a warm-up frequency on a pivotal platform, I want you anywhere from about 11 to 14 hertz. And we're just simply going to sit here for about 30 seconds to a minute and allow the legs to get some blood and some circulation. If you're using a vertical platform, I want you in the 30 to 35 hertz range for your warm-up exercises. After about 30 seconds to a minute, depending on your range of motion and your flexibility, there's a couple of ways that you can stretch your sciatic nerve. And we're going to start with the easiest of the two. I want you to put your hands on your lap, on the sides of your chair, depending on the side of the stool. And what we're going to do one leg at a time is we're going to lift and extend. And you're going to pull those toes towards you. Depending on your range of motion, you may not be able to lift as high as knee, but you're going to feel a nice pull on the inner side of the calf and the hamstring. At the same time as you're lifting that leg, I want you to raise, you're looking straight forward, and you're going to look up at the ceiling. Hold that for a period of about 3 to 5 seconds. If you can't last that long, and release. Okay? Do that for about 30 to 60 seconds per side, or if you'd prefer, run it a little longer and alternate. I prefer to do it that way. So we're going to lift the other leg now. Head back. You should feel that pull. This is called the nerve floss. I've seen this in a couple of YouTube videos. Very easy one to do if you're unable to get on the ground and do some more elaborate stretching. Try to get a good 3-4 reps on this warm-up, okay? If this is feeling comfortable and you want to progress and target the nerve pain, add a little bit of strength to the equation, reduce the distance between your feet, keep your amplitude setting lower on your vertical platform, and bring your frequency ranges up. So on your pivotal, I want you to bring her up to 18 or above, which are more your neurological, your training frequencies. On a vertical platform, you could bring it up now to the 35-40 hertz range, depending on what feels good, and continue. Okay? I think if the pain is severe, believe it or not, you will often find it's more comfortable to use a higher frequency with less movement than a slow frequency with more movement. Okay? Really depends on how you feel. And as you loosen up and some of that tension gets relieved, you might be able to take on more movement. Okay? Again, 30 seconds to a minute per side, maybe a total of 2 minutes if you're just doing it in a rotation like I am. That is option number one. And again, you can do that anywhere throughout the course of the day. Option number two requires a little bit more flexibility. I'm going to keep it on the higher frequency ranges for this. I want your feet a little bit closer than hip width apart. If you are flexible enough, I want you lifting one leg, crossing it, not wrenching up the ankle, but I want that shin bone on the top of your other thigh so your foot can run around freely. And what we're stretching here, primarily the basic position, is you're going to start feeling, if you're not too flexible, you may not be able to get this far. But you should feel a pull in the glute at this point. And while we get the machine going to perform this exercise, I'm at 19 hertz. We're going to keep that vertical at 35 to 40 on this one. Your pivotal, I want you 18 or higher. You don't need to go excessive. 18 to 22 is plenty for something like this. And what we're going to do at the same time as we're holding this basic stretch, I want you to take your hand, good straight spine. I don't want you looking like this or like this. I want a nice straight spine. Stick that chest out, and we're going to add a little pressure on that right knee, and you should feel that hip flexor, everything in that joint opening up. You shouldn't be painful. Hold this for about 2 to 3 seconds, maybe as long as 5, and just release. I don't want to see this. We shouldn't bounce and push and force. So again, good position, slow 3 to 5 seconds on that knee, and relax. And because you've had to cross your leg up, with this one it's probably a little easier than switching sides every rep. If you are more flexible and you're not feeling this at all, lean forward with the chest until you feel that pull in the glute. Then it really depends on how flexible you are. I'm pretty flexible. Depending on you, you may want to lift and target in the same fashion. If you're doing these types of exercises in your chair or your floor now, they shouldn't be that unfamiliar to you. So again, and everybody's got a better side than the other. For me, this is my tighter side. Push and release. Again, you want the foot free. You don't want your ankle all. If you have to hold it in place, you're not flexible enough. And go back to the first one. So those are 2 very basic options. I'm not saying they're the best options. There's a bazillion ways to target your sciatic. If you have been given home physio or home exercises by your chiropractor, your therapist, your doctor, you found something on Google, again, this is just an environment in which you can try some of those exercises and make that exercise more effective in less time with less effort on your part.